Before we talk about wine, I would like to talk about the soils. Like you know, the 95% of the total cava comes from the Catalan wine region, knows like Penedès. Geographically, Penedès goes from the border of Barcelona to the border of Tarragona, and in south, until the Montserrat Mountains. We're talking about more or less 30,000 hectares of vineyards that produce grapes for cava production. So our wine region goes from Mediterranean sea level until 700 meters. So coastal Penedès, after the clay it's sandy, into the mountains, after the clay it's limestone. And like you know, why we are talking about the soils? Because with this knowledge we can decide to plant the best American rootstock into each one of them, and after, depending the altitude where we want to grow, we graft a different vitis vinifera to each American rootstock. So the primary sector is the key point into the quality of the grape, and the grape is the base of quality into the wine. So this is the first message to transmit. So before we talk about wine, we talk about soils, and after, of course, talking about the cycle. Winter, the plant is in dormants, short prunings, 2 bags into each cap to limitate the grape production into the next season. The limit in our appellation of origin are 11,000 kilos per hectare. This is limited by law. Of course, a vineyard 10 years old can produce in a short pruning 9,000 kilos without any problems. A vineyard of 60 years old, in short pruning, produced a half, 4,000. Maybe the same varietal, different ages, and of course, the final wine will be different. So for the winemakers, it will be very useful to choose the same varietal but different wines to make the blendings. So this is the limit in grape production per hectare. In terms of cycle, in some weeks the blossom will take place, now in May, the fruit in June, ripeness controls in July, harvest time starts beginning August and finish the last week of September. Why we are harvesting a little bit earlier, like the still wineries? Because we want to preserve as better as possible the natural acidity level content into the grapes. The acidity will be very useful for us for the aging, because it preserves the wine during the aging, and like you know, when we taste, we will refresh our palate. We are living in Mediterranean climate, so the acidity level content for our grapes is not very high. If you want grapes with more acidity level content, please go to the northern latitudes in Europe. Let's go to looking for Riesling, for example. Mediterranean, we are specialists to offer fruity wines, round wines, comfortable, and the acidity will be always the hint that appears at the end to refresh all the palate. It will be the philosophy into the viticulture concept. Okay, let's go to introduce you the varietals for cava, please.